This lesson is focusing on solving linear systems by using substitution. Substitution is a pretty familiar idea for you guys, so I think you'll pick up on it pretty quickly. I'm going to show you 4 out of these 8 problems, and then you are going to try the other 4, then check your work, and if everything goes well, you would begin your homework. The first question I'm going to go through with you is number 1. So for substitution, we're taking a variable and plugging it into the other equation. So when I look at number 1, I have y is equivalent to x minus 12. So that means y can be substituted with x minus 12. I'm going to take this y value, the x minus 12, and plug it in for y in the second equation. So by plugging this in to my second equation, I end up with x minus 12 equals 2x minus 21. And the whole reason why I did that is because once we substitute it in, we have a one variable system, meaning I can solve for x. I'm going to subtract x from each side and add 21 to each side, which gives me x equals 9. Now that I have x, because remember our solutions to systems should be a coordinate, I need to find y. So I'm going to take x and I'm going to plug it in to my equation for y. Really, you could have used either one. It doesn't matter. I would go ahead and just plug it into this first one. Y equals 9 minus 12. It just looks easier because it's x minus 12 instead of 2 times x minus 21. And when you subtract 12 from 9, you get a negative 3. Remember, your final answer should be a coordinate. So my final solution should be written as 9 comma negative 3 because the coordinate is x comma y. Let's do number 3 together. Once again, we want to use substitution. You can see here how the first equation already has x by itself. So that means I can take x and substitute it or replace it with 6y minus 8. So I'm going to plug x into the second equation. That gives me 2 times, instead of x, I'm going to write 6y minus 8 minus 12y equals 5. So now I can solve for y. First, you're going to have to distribute the 2. So if I distribute that 2, I get 12y minus 16 minus 12y equals 5. The 12y's cancel, and I'm left with negative 16 equals 5. So the y's canceled, meaning I can't solve for y. I can't solve for x because I don't know what y is. And negative 16 does not equal 5. Whenever you have a false statement, so something that cannot be true, that means there is no solution to the system of equations. So no solution is what we want to put there. Now we're going to do number 5. Number 5, we have x equals something, so we're going to take this x and plug it in. We have 3 times, instead of x, I'm going to put 5y plus 2 minus 15y equals 6. So I just plugged x, or the 5y plus 2 from the first equation, into my second equation. Now I'm going to distribute the 3, giving me 15y plus 6 minus 15y equals 6. 15y's cancel. I have 6 equals 6. Now this time, you can see that I have a true statement. So this does work. It is a true statement. 6 does equal 6. So when that happens, we're going to say there's infinitely many solutions. So false statement, there's no solution, and then true statement is infinitely many solutions. Let's take a look at number 8. For number 8, we have two different equations. Now this time, a variable isn't already by itself. We don't have y equals this, x equals that. So it's not easy for us just to plug one equation to the other. Really, you could pick either one to simplify. I'm just going to rewrite the first equation. And I could solve for x or I could solve for y. It's completely up to you. It's personal preference. I'm going to go ahead and solve for x. It just looks easier. So if I have 2x plus 4y equals negative 26, to solve for x, I'm going to subtract 4y from each side. So you can see what I have here. And now I'm going to divide each side by 2. So 2's cancel on this side. Make sure you divide each term by 2. So that gives me negative 2y minus 13. This is now the first equation rewritten so it's x equals something. Okay? A negative 2y minus 13. I'm going to take this and plug it into the equation that I haven't used yet. So I'm going to plug that into my second equation. 5 times, instead of x, I'm going to put negative 2y minus 13 minus 3y equals negative 13. Distribute the 5. Negative 13. Negative 13 times 5 is negative 65. Minus 3y equals negative 13. So now I'm going to go ahead and combine. This would give me combining my y's, negative 13y minus 65 equals negative 13. Scoosh this down. Trying to get y by itself here, so add 65 to each side. That would give me 52. Divide by negative 13. Again, trying to get y by itself. I get negative 4. Now that I have y, I need to take y and plug it into one of the original equations. Doesn't matter which one, because I already have the y value. I just want to solve for x. Honestly, it would probably be easier instead of plugging it into the original, which could work. It could be easier if we take negative 4 and plug it into our equation we already have written for x. Because really, this is equivalent to the first equation. It's just rewritten. So I'm going to do that and put x equals negative 2 times y, which is negative 4, minus 13. That gives me negative 4 times negative 4 is positive 8, minus 13. That's negative 5. So x equals negative 5. Remember, you need to write your final answer as a coordinate. So negative 5, negative 4. I'd like you to pause the video and try the other 4 problems on the worksheet. Pause the video and check your work for number 2. Pause the video and check your work for number 4. Here's the work for number 6. And lastly, there's the work for number 7. If all went well, you are good to begin your homework, or please write a private comment on Google Classroom if you have any questions.